The beautiful girls all over the world I could be chasing, but my time would be wasting. Hey! Whew! It's Friday, March 26th and everything, and I want to do a new thing on Fridays, try and, aside from getting multiple fights out and things like that, a lot of people have started asking about prospects and, hey, what do you think about this guy coming up, and what do you think about that guy coming up, and most of the time I'm like, I don't know, I don't live there, or I'm not in that area, so you guys get to tip me off on guys so I can tell people about them, okay? And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to start doing. So every week I want to take a fighter that you guys want, and I don't want to make this a question of the week. This has nothing to do with question of the week. That's something totally different. This is a prospect perspective. Huh? Yeah. So you tell me about a new guy that you want to hear about, that you want to know more about, or you think people should know more about. Okay? So I had a lot of people talking to me about Kell Brook. And they were like, have you heard about this guy? Have you seen this guy? I swear he's better than Amir Khan, and he's going to be the next big thing. So I said, okay, enough people did. So this one, for the prospect perspective, it's going to be the new one, man. It's going to be on Kell Brook. Kell Brook, prospect perspective. Let's go into it a little bit. He's 23 years old. He's 21-0, 14 knockouts. 66.67% knockout ratio, okay? Now, he's welterweight. He's stepping up in class. He's starting to fight fighters a little bit better. But he's not fighting power punchers. So I want to get that out there real quick there, because people slam Amir Khan for not fighting him. But this guy, Christoph Enyas, was 37%, not as high as Kotelnik, and he was basically a punching bag in there. Kind of looked like a guy that wasn't as good as Claudy getting beat up. Michael Lomax with a whopping 11.11% knockout ratio makes Malignaggi look like Mike Tyson. Stuart Elwell at 6.25%, he makes Lomax look like Malignaggi. You see what I'm saying? And then you got Kevin McIntyre at 25.7%. Monster compared to Lomax or Elwell. Now, the fighters he's fought, not near as powerful, but he's up and coming, right? He has had 21 fights, though. So, and with all prospects that are coming up, nothing is really going to be perfect about them. There will be something that I find that's not up to par yet, but that's why they're a prospect. They're not there yet. And there might be a couple things I find. There are obviously good things, or they wouldn't be a prospect. But there are going to be some things that you're going to be like, man, why are you pointing that out? And I'm pointing it out so you know. So maybe you don't throw all your eggs in the prospect basket. You get the perspective. The prospect perspective. Yeah, that's going to be a t-shirt you watch. Now, he drops his left just before he throws a jab. He drops it down, and then he fires it out. Drops it down, then he fires it out. Okay? He holds his hands low. I'm not a fan of that. You guys know that. And after he throws the jab, throws it out there, he drops it all the way down to his waist before it comes up. Not all the way up, just up. Okay? I'm not a fan of that, and it's bad, and it will affect him when he fights better fighters. He does throw combos. I like his combos. He works the body. He has well-placed uppercuts. I like these things about him. Those are very nice things to look at. He's not overly fast. He's not a freakishly fast welterweight. He's got decent aggressive speed, but he's not fast. Okay, so get that out of your head. He has a nice lead right hand that he can come out with, sitting there, and you don't see that a lot with a lot of fighters. It's a very sneaky, very solid thing. You can fire out that right hand, and then all of a sudden you're coming in with the hooks and stuff like that. You can get a good jump on somebody. He has decent power, and he has finisher qualities. If he thinks he has you hurt, man, he's on you. There's no playing around. He's there and he's going to try to get you out of there. And these are good qualities to have. You don't see that in a lot of fighters. He does overextend with his jabs, which can lead him to being a little bit off balance. So, as a prospect, I think he has definite perspective. But let's get the whole perspective on it. I went through and I looked at all his opponents. His opponents combined for 1,188 fights. So they've had a lot of fights. So he's fighting guys that have a lot of experience. The problem is there was only 277 wins out of those 1,100, almost 1,200 fights. There was 861 losses. He's fighting guys, a lot of guys that have more than 80 losses on their record. These are straight flat out and total bums. And 50 draws. So it was 23% winning percentage is the average on guys he's fought. 23%. So he really hasn't fought anybody yet. Nobody. So as a prospect, yes, he's got nothing really on his record to do it, and that's why he's a prospect. He's not legit yet. I compared that to someone like Amir Khan, who has a 22-1 record. He's fought 2 more fights, okay? His fighters have only had 649 total fights. So they haven't had as many, but there's 491 wins in there for a 76% winning percentage. There's only 139 losses for a 21% losing percentage. So when you start wanting to compare fighters and looking at their records, you really need to look at all their opponents and add them up. Go right through. So Kell Brook, while he's looking promising, he really hasn't fought anyone yet. So he is someone to keep an eye on. And we'll do that. So that's my breakdown of Kell Brook for now. As he gets more fights, we'll be able to put fights together and we'll see how they go. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is something we can continue with and carry on. And that is my prospect perspective of Kell Brooks. All right, well, hey, this is the Bigragu.